that's a little concerning. Let's go over there and see what they're up to. Also, how did they get this close to a tribal settlement? Huh. All the Fatui left in Natlan are probably the captain's subordinates. That basically makes them followers of one of Natlan's heroes. Still, once a Fatuse, always a Fatuse. Something seems off seeing them here. Let's go check it out. What are you guys doing here?
Following orders. If you have a problem, take it up with our employer.
Hey, what's with the attitude? Can the Fatui even work for a private employer?
This is Grudok. I hired him to be my bodyguard in Natlan. As you can see, he's not the sociable type. I'm sorry for any offense. My original plan was to hire someone from the local tribes, but a priest recommended Grudok and his squad. I was told they were capable fighters and had the time to spare, so they fit the bill. It seems like the Fatui's reputation in Natlan is quite positive.
So that's what happened. Then you must be from Fontaine?
Precisely! Montluçon, at your service. I work in the publication business. And you two...
Oh, you know us?
A golden-haired traveler with a floating companion. Your exploits in Fontaine have all the makings of a best-selling series. I'd be a failure of a book merchant if I couldn't recognize you.
Wow, we're really famous at this point, Traveler.
It's truly my lucky day. I know this is sudden, but I was actually looking for you two. You see, I have a favor to ask.
So, you chased us all the way to Natlan?
You'll be generously rewarded, I promise you.
Well, at least he got straight to the point. Should we hear what he has to say? All right.
You know the great shaman Citlali, right? I need her help with something.
Yeah, but the chances of her helping a random stranger just because we asked? Yeah, Citlali really doesn't like dealing with strangers.
I heard about that from other members of her tribe. But they told me if one person could convince her, it would be the golden-haired traveler. If you manage it, I'll even double your pay.
Oh yeah, we should definitely get to the bottom of that first.
It's kind of a long story, and there's tribal history involved, so you should hear it from an expert. Alie, if you could.
Of course. I don't often have an eager audience for this kind of thing. Nice to meet you. The name's Alie. I'm a researcher from the Fontaine Research Institute. Unlike most researchers, I have a keen interest in ancient ruins. That's why I was invited to join Monsieur Montluçon's team. Have you heard of the legend of the great shaman Citlali? Yes. According to local records, she was a color mystic who lived over 200 years ago, and the most adept in her tribe at using that particular technique. Out of all of her exploits, her most celebrated is the Battle of Seven Colors. According to legend, the battle was triggered by an abyss invasion, one of the most brutal in Natlan's history, even from a greater historical perspective. Amazingly, Natlan was able to turn the tide despite being at an extreme disadvantage. The key to victory was none other than a color Citlali created on the battlefield. The color was extraordinary, illusory in appearance while also seeming to possess physical form. Legend has it that Citlali used the color to construct a magnificent maze on the battlefield and trap all the enemies inside. This allowed her allies to launch a counterattack and ultimately secure victory.
Anyway, that's the gist of it. We don't want to take up too much of your time. That story is the reason I came to Natlan. I often publish books about the history of other nations. They always end up faring well on the market. When I heard this story for the first time, I wanted to include it in my next collection, but... Historical records about Natlan aren't very detailed. We haven't been able to determine where the battle took place, or find any definitive evidence that it occurred at all. Even within the Masters of the Nightwind, people dispute the legitimacy of the story. Some believe it to be a myth. If that were the case, the story would not be fit for publication.
happened?
Well, you see, the slogan for the collection is Restoring the Truth of History. Naturally, I needed to be factual. That's why I'm here. The Masters of the Nightwind are said to have a tradition of recording past events, so I wanted to consult their records. But I was refused access to the Obsidian Altar. Application after application, and all I received were a few ordinary woven scrolls with nothing to offer. Honestly, I'm just trying to promote their history, and they make such a fuss.
According to my research, their scrolls are considered sacred relics in addition to historical records. Naturally, outsiders are rarely granted access. Not to mention, the scrolls we did get to review actually contain a huge amount of information. I just need more time, and I could...
We've been over this, Alier. There's no need to waste time on those scrolls when we have a better way.
Citlali, you mean?
Exactly. You're well aware, I'm sure, that Citlali has been alive for more than 200 years. That means she lived during the era of the Battle of Seven Colors. If she agrees to be my consultant, then no other historical...
Oh, that's what you want.
So, what do you say? I'll quadruple the pay if it helps sweeten the deal.
Well, it's not that we don't want to help you. Oh, right! The duty the chief gave us has a lot to do with Wheat Sealing. Who knows? The Battle of Seven Colors might lead us in the right direction. All right, we'll help you convince Citlali. Just let us do the talking, okay?
Of course.
Don't worry, I'm sure they'll... Light it up! Rev the engines! Let's burn this breeze. Knock him down. Light of the blazing sun! Take me up! Open fire! Let's ride! Phew. The end of our legacy. Full throttle! Hip. Hip. Rev the engines! Let's ride! Open fire! Locked on!
So, this is where the great shaman lives? A bit far from civilization, isn't it? I hope the person who pointed us in this direction wasn't mistaken.
For someone like Citlali, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Is this graffiti her work too? I wonder if it's a cultural practice. If I could just copy it down,
We're here for a reason, Alier. As agreed, you two can do the talking, and we'll wait for you here.
Okay, we'll go knock on the door. Hopefully she's not hungover. Citlali? Are you there? no response. Maybe she's not home. Oh, Granny Citlali? Are you home?
Hey, kid! If you're here to challenge me, book an appointment first. Traveler!
Looks like we came at a bad time.
Are you still there? Just come in. We can talk inside.
Well, at least we didn't get turned away. Huh. So this is where Citlali lives.
I, didn't have time to fully clean up the place. Complain if you want. Menial housework means nothing to a great shaman like myself. Besides, in light novels, people who keep everything neat and tidy are always too boring to be the protagonists. Also, I'm not a hermit. I'm just above superficial rules of societal etiquette.
She sure does care a lot about what we think of her.
Oh, and that spell I used to transfer my senses to you, you're not still, experiencing the side effects, are you? It's my duty as a great shaman to check that kind of thing.
Oh, you mean when we could hear your thoughts? Nope. It's been so long, we don't have to worry about that anymore, right?
Then why do I hear the traveler's thoughts in my head?
What?
I can still hear you, you know. Don't bother. I'll find a way to fix it. First you hear my thoughts, now I'm hearing your thoughts. It was just a simple spell. I use it on you, and now it's on the fritz. Forget it. Just tell me why you're here.
Well, someone asked us to ask you to be their consultant. They have questions about the history of Natlan.
So they asked the hero of Natlan to put in a good word? Sounds like they know I don't usually trouble myself with other people's problems.
The pay is really good.
Doesn't matter. I'm busy.
She sure doesn't look busy. Paimon knew this wouldn't get us anywhere.
From you?
Yeah, we were given a sacred duty to help your tribe weave a special scroll.
Huh? So, you're the appointed ones this time?
We were surprised too. After all, we have no idea how to weave a scroll like that. But with Chef Biram's help, we were able to make some progress. We still haven't succeeded, but we learned that the key to weaving the scroll is a special kind of color. The historical event those men want to ask about also involves color. If you help them, you might end up helping us too. She's giving us that face again. Did Paimon not explain things clearly?
I can't decide whether this twist is completely out of the blue or if it was foreshadowed all along.
Does that mean you won't help us?
I need to think about it.
Then there's still hope.
Hey, what's the holdup? Just give us an answer already.
You agreed to let us do the talking! Citlali!
Stand down, Grudok! As your employer, if I tell you to wait, then you wait.
Understood.
You're the great shaman who's been alive for centuries? But you're so... Apologies for the disturbance. Grudok is a recent hire, so difficult to restrain sometimes.
You're lucky you didn't force Citlali's hand.
Well, since you're here, how about a discussion?
Do you have any idea who I am? Did you think Granny Eatsley would be fooled by your little performance?
I
have no intention of speaking to you. Your recent hire interrupted me right as I was about to make an important decision. Pull a trick like that again, and I'll make your lives a living horror novel, except 10 times worse. That's all I came out here to say.
Whoa.
Traveler, we have a discussion to finish.
You live up to your name, Granny Itztli. I apologize for the offense. I'm just surprised the Battle of Seven Colors didn't pique your interest.
You're investigating the Battle of Seven Colors?
Ah, the Traveler didn't get to that part? Yes, I thought the Traveler could help me convince you. But, if I'm not mistaken, you have a personal interest in this matter, don't you? I heard that the great shaman Huitzilin was a friend of yours. You two must have been close. If I can resolve the controversy and prove the battle took place, I'll include it in my next collection. Then, all of Teyvat will learn the truth. With your support, your friend's heroic deeds will once again be known throughout the land. Inspiring, don't you think?
If this is really about that duty, then... fine. I'll help you.
I'm honored.
Save it. I agreed to help the Traveler, not you. You'll just have to leech what you can.
Well, at least she agreed to help.
Who are you calling heartless?
Not a problem. I always planned to work with the Traveler. So, did you directly experience any events of the battle? Do you have any idea where it took place? Can you think of any relics we could use to prove it?
Talk at me, why don't you?
Fine.
Fine. No, no, and no. I did live during the same era as her, but that doesn't mean we experienced the same events. I've lived a long time, but I'm not a walking encyclopedia. You decide the angle of your investigation, and I'll provide answers if I'm familiar with the subject.
All right. Even if you didn't witness the battle yourself, you still lived through that era. Your insights are very valuable. Alier, you had an idea about where to start, yes?
Oh, well, my plan was to consult the members of the tribe in charge of recording history.
Then, let's start there. Traveler, what do you say to officially working together? After all, it appears I can only get Miss Citlali's help through you.
Ha! Giddy up! Let's ride!
You don't seem super invested in this whole thing, Citlali.
The Battle of Seven Colors is something I've only ever heard about. I know as much as anyone else in my tribe.
But how? Weren't you alive when it happened?
I wasn't there when it took place, and she never told me about it. That's how.
But Molo Saw said the two of you were the battle was legendary. Why wouldn't Citlali tell you about it?
Close friends? More like arch rivals. Something Montluçon would know if he actually did his research. Did you see the graffiti outside my house? That's not my doing. All students from Citlali's School of Shamanism must pass an extremely difficult trial before graduation, defeating me in battle. Those graffiti drawings are how they challenge me. Of course, none of them ever succeeded. So, after Citlali's death, her students had no choice but to modify the requirement. Instead of defeating me, all they have to do now is last long enough. As my rival, Citlali only had one achievement that surpassed my own, and that was the Battle of 7 Colors. I can only assume she had some kind of secret technique at her disposal. It makes perfect sense that she kept it from me. I'm a fast learner. Telling me about the technique is no different than handing it to me on a silver platter. As if she would give away her one advantage.
Oh, that makes sense.
Anyway, all of that is secondary. Like I said, I'm only here to help you fulfill your duty. Don't misunderstand. This duty is important for my tribe, too. A great shaman should do her part to see it done. Excuse you? I fail to see what housekeeping has to do with my duty as a shaman. Why is it that you're the one whose thoughts are exposed, but I'm still the one suffering? I need to get to the bottom of this.
Excuse me, great shaman, but we have a situation over here. We could really use your help.
Okay.
Of course the Battle of 7 Colors happened. The woven scroll proves it. Citlali used a mysterious color to construct a maze and trap the enemies inside.
That's just your interpretation. There's more than one way to understand that scroll. Besides, constructing a maze out of color is ridiculous.
Citlali was one of the most powerful shamans of her time. She definitely could have pulled it off.
That's the biggest problem. She had students. Why not pass it down? A technique that powerful? And no shaman since has ever used it?
Her students are keeping it a secret, of course. If you knew a technique like that, you'd be a fool to show it to just anyone.
Oh, I didn't mean to cause an argument. I just wanted to ask, is there anything we can use to prove the battle took place?
Of course it took place. Why would you need to prove it?
You'll have to excuse him. Some people in our tribe insist on clinging to outdated views of history.
Please don't fight.
Wow, so the battle really is controversial.
Am I the outdated one? Kids these days can't find anything better to argue about?
These arguments are precisely why I hesitate to include this story in my collection. Neither side was able to offer anything useful. What should we do?
Citlali was a passionate teacher. We were opposites in that sense. The technique she used in the battle must have been her masterpiece. There's every reason to pass it on. Still, if the technique is powerful enough to single-handedly stop an invasion, it also makes sense that her disciples would keep it a secret. We should check with the students from her school. If we can confirm the technique exists, we can deduce certain things about the battle.
But as far as I know, most of the shamans from her school occupy high positions in the tribe. Not the type of people outsiders like us can speak to on a whim.
Right. The obsidian altar is off limits to you. But, if I go...
Is there a problem?
Most of Citlali's students are respected priests in the tribe. But that means they had to go through me. Or try, at least. I, of course, humiliated them from a young age. Those who hold the position now are the ones who lasted long enough before I wiped the floor with them. If I show up without warning, they'll run for dear life. That's not gonna get us any answers.
Yeah, Paimon can see it now.
Hey, don't jump to conclusions. That was just a metaphor. Only you have the guts to joke like that with me, Traveler. Fine, I said I'd help, so I'll help. But don't blame me if it goes wrong.
Alright, the rest of you can wait for us here.
We appreciate the help.
Try and stop me! Oh, are you in the middle of a ceremony?
Granny Eatsley?
What is she doing here?
Did some coward not show up after challenging her to a fight?
Or is she here to officially take over the tribe?
Whoa. It's like they really do see her as some kind of tyrant.
No matter what, we'll defend our dignity as priests to the end.
Ugh, you talk a big game for someone who lost to me the most out of the entire priesthood.
What?
All I want is to ask some questions.
So, you're here to interrogate us?
Someone didn't sit pretty for their beating? Is that it? You want their name, don't you?
We should just run!
Yeah, with the hero of Natlan here, Granny Eatsley will be on her best behavior.
Sure, whatever you say.
Oh, it's the Traveler and her companion. That does make me feel better.
We wanted to ask about the technique you inherited from Huitziling.
Huh. So you can eradicate our school once and for all?
Disciples of our school have challenged her year after year, just as our master instructed. Sounds like she's finally had enough.
Well, you're not wrong.
If we want to protect our legacy, one of us needs to run!
Not this again. Just how much did you traumatize them, Citlali?
Hey! You can't just say whatever you want just because it's in your head. I'm Granny Eatsley. A mere mention of my name and kids burst into tears. Love and respect? No one has the guts for that. What? You know what? Forget about your duty. We really need to fix this mind-reading situation.
Sorry to disappoint, but if you're here to question whether we're qualified to inherit our master's legacy, we're not going down without a fight.
We're not getting anywhere. What should we do, Traveler?
Huh? Oh, it's you.
Elder Tlapo! Oh, we must have disturbed your meditation. Our deepest apologies. Please forgive us.
Did Elder Tlapo just issue a declaration?
From what I can tell, in a single word, the message was... friend?
Is Elder Tlapo telling us to treat Granny Eatsley as a friend?
That's not possible, is it?
Oh, you forget yourselves, my friends. You are esteemed priests of our tribe. Where are your manners?
But Chief!
I didn't expect to see you here, great shaman. My sincere apologies for the lack of hospitality.
Well, I wasn't exactly planning to come to this crowded place. So you can save the pleasantries, Chief. I'd rather get this over with.
Understood. Now, as successors of Huitziling, I understand your friction with Granny Eatsley. However, Elder Talapo's declarations have always showed us the correct path. You would do well to respect his counsel. So, mind your manners and allow Granny Citlali to ask her questions.
Good thing Elder Talapo and Chief Biram are on our side. Hi there, Elder Talapo! Hey, he seems pretty happy to see us.
He's the one who put you in charge of the scroll, right?
Yeah, Elder Talapo appointed us to the task.
Elder Talapo, huh? He's still Claw to me. Hey, don't pull that cutesy stuff with me. You're an Iktomisaur Elder now. You occupy an eminent and important position within the tribe.
So, you already know each other?
Claw was only this big when we first met. He was Witzilim's Saurian companion back then. She kept dragging him to my place, so over time, we got to know each other. She only came to my place to fight me. But at the same time, she always claimed to be my friend. She was the only one who dared to try, at least.
Well, you've lived a long time. You've probably made a bunch of friends over the years, right?
The more time you have, the more friends you lose.
Oh,
Anyway, let's get back to business. I hate talking about the past. Oh, 200 years and you still haven't given up, Claw? I still haven't made up my mind, so you should head back. Traveler, Paimon, let's go.
Hey there, Chief Biram! Oh, wait. We haven't reached out since the last time we failed the task, huh?
I'm just grateful you haven't forgotten that duty.
Actually, we have good news! We found another clue!
I'm all ears.
It's the Battle of Seven Colors.
Wheatzilin's claim to fame? That sounds promising. But the battle took place hundreds of years ago. An investigation is bound to be difficult.
True, but Granny Citlali promised to help.
Is that so? I've tried seeking her help in the past, but I never managed to coax her out. You should cherish this opportunity.
Hey, don't complain! None of the previous chiefs succeeded either.
Forgive me. That wasn't my intention. It was a comment on my own failings.
Paimon said you've been trying to figure out how to weave the special scroll.
It is my duty, great shaman.
Why bother? The scrolls always end up completed on time. So what's the point of figuring it out for yourself?
If I may, this task concerns the history of Natlan as a whole. And in many ways, history is the memory of a people. Memory is sacred to our tribe. I'm sure a great shaman understands that better than a humble junior like myself. Something this important cannot be left to baseless rumors. I know you don't concern yourself with the daily affairs of the tribe, Granny Citlali. Even so, as a priestess, I trust you wouldn't leave something like that to chance.
I get your point. Of course, the one time I wish you could read my mind, it doesn't work. No, that's not it.
Huh?
It's not important. Rest assured, Baram, with my help, the Traveler and Paimon will definitely be able to complete the task.
You have my thanks then.
Huh. So are you here to test whether we're qualified to inherit Master Wheatselian's legacy?
You've already been tested, haven't you? Well, frankly speaking, I don't think any of you are qualified, but that's not why I'm here. All you need to do is be good and answer my questions.
Fine. Ask away.
You've heard of the Battle of Seven Colors, right?
Of course. It's our master's claim to fame. An immortal legend inscribed in the very history of our tribe.
Then I'm sure you know there are those who question whether it actually occurred.
I did hear people arguing about that the other day.
It's disgraceful. How can they question something like that?
It doesn't surprise me. Natlan has had more tourism lately. A lot of people have started getting strange ideas after interacting with Outlanders. After all, everyone who took part in the battle has returned to the ley lines. Without witnesses, it's hard to refute detractors.
Well, it just so happens the questions I want to ask are directly related to the legitimacy of this battle.
Listen, we know you were rivals, but do you really have to question her legacy?
You think she's like you? Someone who can't survive a little scrutiny?
No, of course not.
Then let me finish. During the battle, Wheatselian most likely used a technique powerful enough to turn the tides of war, proud enough to pass it on to her disciples. So, which one of you inherited that technique?
I don't think any of us have heard of it.
Listen, I'm not trying to take it for myself, so be honest. With or without it, I can wipe the floor with any of you.
Yeah, no objections there. But I'm telling the truth. None of us have ever heard of that technique.
What's wrong with her? Why would she let it go extinct?
Master's body of work is massive. No one student could hope to learn all her techniques. Mastering just a few already takes a lot of effort. Master had no choice but to recruit many students, split up what she knew into different portions, and pass it down through various individuals. So even though we see ourselves as representatives of Wheatselian's school of shamanism, what we know isn't the sum of her legacy. Actually, I know of a shaman family that inherited some of Master's techniques. The family fell on hard times and lost the right to the priesthood.
But if they inherited Wheatselian's secret technique, shouldn't the family be thriving?
Well, it's the only thing I can think of.
All right, give me their address.
I'll mark it out on your map.
To be honest, I'm not optimistic about the future of this investigation. That's because the request came from you. You don't know the power of your own words, do you?
Full throttle! Yeah!
Proving the legitimacy of this battle seems more hopeless by the second.
Nothing we can do about that.
Well, even if our investigation ultimately proves the legend to be false, that's still a worthwhile result. Although I'm here for business purposes, I have a personal interest in this as well. I'm drawn to matters of historical truth.
That's exactly why I chose to follow you, Monsieur Montluçon.
Listen, I'm just updating you on the situation, not asking for your opinion. I don't really care whether you continue your investigation. And Traveler, you came to me for help with your scroll weaving duty, right? You thought looking into the Battle of Seven Colors could give you answers. That's understandable. But based on our progress, I'd say this is a dead end. Instead of wasting time, you might consider taking a different approach. I'll try to think of another way to help you.
Respected traveler, let's not forget about the compensation I promised. You shall have it in full. Extra, if that's what it takes.
What makes you say that?
Yeah, based on what you've told us so far, it kinda seems like there's unresolved tension between you two.
You think so?
She claimed to be your friend, but picked fights with you nonstop, and never told you about her biggest accomplishment. By figuring out the truth behind the battle, maybe we can finally help you get closure.
Closure? I'd say we're 200 years too late. But fine, if you want to keep investigating, be my guest.
Ah, that's wonderful news.
Alright, let's go visit the Shaman family. Hello, are you a shaman?
Yep, that's me. Huh? Granny Eastly?
Get up! In a crowded market like this, the only person who should be trying to hide is me.
My apologies. Ever since my grandfather's generation, the shamans of my family have given up on passing your trial, Granny Eastly. Have we offended you in some other capacity?
Man, this is generational trauma at this point.
Whenever I misbehaved as a kid, Grandpa would tell me about the thrashing he received from Granny Eastly. I still get nightmares about it sometimes.
Hey, don't get any funny ideas. This was your idea, remember? Keep asking your questions. I'm going to find somewhere quiet to wait.
Okay, so your family studied under Citlali, right?
Yes. Although, that pretty much ended with my grandfather's generation, unfortunately. The techniques my family learned from Citlali didn't have much practical use in terms of tribal affairs, so during my grandfather's time, we quit the priesthood. Turns out, shaman techniques aren't that useful outside the priesthood either. So over time, we abandoned them altogether. Of course, it's possible that we were just too foolish to understand the true power of those teachings. After all, Citlali was a genius. None of her students have been able to fully reproduce her talent.
Do you know which techniques were passed on to your family?
I'm not sure. As a kid, I remember hearing my grandfather talk about them, but it's not like I can use them myself.
Just think about it for a sec. Do you remember anything about a technique that can decide the outcome of a battle?
Decide the outcome of a battle? No, I don't remember anything like that. Besides, my family wasn't really known for our talent. If a technique like that exists, I doubt Citlali would pass it on to us. You might have better luck asking one of the priests. They're descendants of Citlali's most gifted students.
Well, looks like we're back where we started.
Still no definitive evidence the Battle of Seven Colors took place. Alier, do you think we have enough to draw a conclusion?
All we have are non-witness accounts. We could put together an interview, but that's not going to hold up an academic.
Then we have to keep going.
Oh, you're investigating the Battle of Seven Colors?
Yeah, you know about it?
Not a lot, but there's something special about my family. In addition to shaman techniques, Citlali's stories were passed down to us as well. Say what you want about my ancestors' dedication to shamanism, but they definitely paid attention to those stories. And of course, the Battle of Seven Colors is the most exciting story of them all.
We don't need another story. We need something
I'm not sure if this is helpful, but the story passed down in my family is a little different from the one told in the tribe.
Really?
Well, it's Citlali's personal account of the event, so it's a lot more detailed. For example, in the version I heard, the battle took place in a location known as Chico Mostuk Cave.
That means you can tell us where to find it. Have you ever been to this place?
Unfortunately not.
I studied maps of Natlan before we left, Monsieur Montluçon. I don't remember ever seeing such a name.
Could your ancestors be mistaken, Mr. Eshemin?
It's unlikely. My family may have let the shamanism side of things fall by the wayside, but we're serious about these stories. In the words of my grandfather, some things deserve to be passed down more than secret arts.
If Huitzilin's version of events differs so much from the general understanding, that makes it even more likely the battle is completely made up.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Oh, hold on. You mentioned the Chico Mostek cave?
Oh, yes? Can I clear something up for you?
It's been more than 200 years. Huh. I never thought I'd hear that name again.
What do you mean?
That location is now known as the Valley of Fog. The Chico Mostek cave is what it was called 200 years ago.
Precisely when Huitziling was alive. That means, Monsieur Montluçon, we can confirm the original site of the battle. Once we get there, the evidence we need should be at our fingertips.
Just when we thought all hope was lost. I never doubted you, great shaman. Allow me to present you with a gift as thanks.
Save it. Flattery won't get you anywhere with me.
Wait, Mr. Montluçon works in publishing. You're a huge fan of light novels, right, Citlali? Maybe he could get you some that are out of print.
Really?
Out of print, huh? Sure. Do you have any in mind?
Well, if we're talking collectibles, then the first edition of Shogun Almighty Reborn as Raiden with Unlimited Power is a must. It's the first major hit of the isekai genre. Several editions have gone to print, but copies of the first edition are exceedingly rare and valuable.
I see.
There's also its sister work, Pretty Please Kitsune Guji. It was Yae Publishing House's attempt at gauging the new market trends. It's opened the door to a new genre after readers grew tired of isekais. The sales speak for themselves. Actually, Yae Publishing House released a limited edition not too long ago. But it's almost impossible to get.
Sorry, I'm not sure I caught all that. What were the titles again? Reborn as Kitsune Guji?
These two titles are among the most successful and well-known works in the entire industry. You're telling me, as someone who works in publishing, you've never heard of them?
I'm a merchant from Fontaine, after all. Regarding this particular genre from Inazuma...
Amateur.
Of course! Sounds like a perfect arrangement. Now, there's no time to waste. We should head to the site of the battle right away.
Once we get there, it'll take a bit more work to determine the actual location. Right now, all we have is a general idea.
Well, I'm sure Miss Citlali can help us with that.
Have you even looked at the time? It's already evening, and I have important plans tonight.
Well, what do you think, traveler? Okay, we'll find a place to rest for the night. When should we meet tomorrow?
He's persistent, huh?
How about noon?
Do we have to wait that long?
Great shamans have important matters to attend to in the morning. That's only because I have important tasks to complete at night.
All right, as Miss Citlali instructed. Let's meet back up tomorrow at noon. We'll be waiting at the exit of the tribal settlement.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask, is Granny Citlali satisfied with my answer?
Yeah, of course. You really helped us out.
Oh, good. I'm glad I didn't offend her somehow.
You're really that scared of her?
To be honest, Granny Citlali almost never interacts with ordinary tribespeople like us. Everything we know about her comes from rumors. She's a powerful shaman who's lived for over 200 years. As a great hero, you're probably the only one who isn't intimidated.
Well, thanks for today, Citlali.
That's quite considerate of you. All right, let's grab a few drinks. Just like last time.
Wait, didn't you say you had important plans tonight?
What did you think I meant?
Does that mean you've gone drinking every night for the past 200 years? Now Paimon's worried about your health.
No, I've had enough socializing for one day. I know somewhere quiet. We can just buy some drinks and head over. Which will also give us a chance to solve the mind reading issue. Considering the necessary spell work, I'd rather do it in private.
Let's fly. Is this the place?
No, further up.
Further up? Whoa, this is like a secret base.
Sometimes I want the fresh air, but not the company. Let's see if my stash is still here. Ah, great! The halberd crest birds didn't eat my snacks. Now for the mind reading issue. Give me your hand. It might take a little longer, actually. I just need to share my senses, make a clean break. And that should do it, right? You're not wrong. Hold on. Why do I still hear you in my head? Oh, did I not separate our senses completely? Maybe using my palm isn't enough? Close your eyes. Oh, please work, please work. A great shaman should be able to handle this. Okay, what about now? Huh? And now? Huh. Whenever I try to remove the effect, it just flips direction and gets worse. That was just to help with the spell. Ah, shoot. I still hear you. For a human soul, to lose the boundaries of the mind is to drown in the sea of consciousness without a concept of self.
Wait, that sounds bad.
I read read that in a light novel. When it comes to the real world, I think it's pretty accurate.
Is Citlali drunk? She's not making much sense.
Anyway, we'll just have to leave it for now.
Hearing the Traveler's thoughts isn't that bad, right? You should just tease her. That's what Paimon would do.
It's just... I'm not good at this. I'm not used to being close to people. Sorry, I said we could be friends, but I guess I'm not ready. I'm used to being Granny Eatsley. Someone intimidating, someone people are scared to approach. I don't have to deal with people that way.
Yeah, Paimon's been wondering. Why do you insist on living so far away? You could easily become a leader of your tribe, someone everyone loves and respects.
When you live as long as me, a person is like a flower. The color draws you in. You water it to see it bloom. It rewards you with its fragrance, but it doesn't last. With the passing of the seasons, everything withers away. You can try to water it, but it will never bloom again. Even if the same plot of soil is covered in flowers the following year, the one you remember won't be there. That's just how it is. Most of the people in my life will be gone one day, just like a flower. Getting close means losing friend after friend for hundreds of years, until the weight of their memories crushes my soul. If people don't care about me, then I don't have to care about them. It's better if the people in my memories are nothing more than fleeting strangers.
Citlali.
You won't live as long as me, so you don't have to worry about that. Really? Then you should understand. Nearly everyone you know will be gone one day. Traveler?
Is something wrong?
Stupid mind-reading side effect won't go away. It's not like I want to hear you complain about me all the time.
Okay, she's definitely drunk. Citlali, maybe take it easy? At this rate, you might sleep past noon tomorrow.
I'm not drunk. I remember everything the Traveler said. Just gotta think of a response. I'll think of something.
Uh-oh, not this again. Is she asleep?
I'm fine. Can get home by myself.
Is she talking in her sleep or talking to us?
Bye. Gonna walk back alone. Need some time to think.